Thanks for joining us today at noon. I'm Jurnee Taylor. Let's take a look at our top headlines for today. With Christmas over, don't wait too long to take down the decorations if you got a live tree. We have an important reminder, safety reminder, and a unique way to give back. Plus, maybe you didn't get the perfect present this holiday season, but wait before you rush to return it, while that could cost you. And as 2023 comes to a close, we're taking a look back at some of the biggest news stories that made headlines around the country this year. But first, we have a look at weather. Meteorologist Scott Covert is in the building. And Scott, yesterday was a little gloomy.
It was.
But I think the sun is coming out.
The sun has come out. It's shining all across Arkansas here this afternoon, and it's starting to warm us up. Still going to be a seasonably cool afternoon. Little Rock and Pine Bluff right now at 50 degrees. We're sitting in the 40s in places like Hot Springs at 47, 48 in Stuttgart, up to 49 here this afternoon in Monticello. These numbers will continue warming up at least a few more degrees. Today's forecast for Little Rock calls for a high of 54. We'll maintain those mostly sunny skies, beautiful blue sky out there. There will be some clouds building in overnight, and that's in part going to result in some cooler temperatures going into the second half of this week. Meanwhile, we're tracking, get this, a chance of, yes, some snow flurries. We'll have a look at who, where, and when, while the rest of us likely staying mostly dry for the next several days. All that and more coming up in your 7-day forecast.
Well, now at noon, Pine Bluff police are still searching for a suspect from a deadly shooting on Christmas Eve. Investigators say the victim, 41-year-old William Burnett, showed up at the hospital on Sunday, where he later died. Police learned someone shot Burnett at the home near the 1300 block of Blake Street earlier that morning. Investigators are asking for any tips that might help lead to an arrest. Now, we also now know who police are looking for after a violent robbery at a North Little Rock Waffle House earlier this month. We first told you police were looking for this man here, who authorities say robbed the diner and shot an employee at the Camp Robinson Road location back on the 15th. Now, thankfully, that worker survived, but in a new development, police now say the man behind the mask may be 24-year-old Devontae Clay. There's a warrant out for his arrest. If you know where he is, you can report it anonymously to North Little Rock Police. And now to the latest on the war between Israel and Hamas. A new proposal from Egypt to end the war is not getting much traction. Meanwhile, as CBS reports, conditions are worsening for civilians in Gaza.
Outside Al-Quds Hospital, Gaza's second largest, a wasteland. This is one of the first looks inside since it stopped functioning last month, following a weeks-long siege by Israeli tank units. After nearly 3 months of war, and all of Gaza's hospitals have either been bombed out of use or now just barely operate. This one is at breaking point following Israel's Christmas Eve airstrikes on the Maghazi refugee camp, which killed at least 100 Palestinians, according to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health, in what's being described as one of the deadliest Israeli assaults since fighting began. The grief here is unbearable. Israel's military said it was reviewing the incident. For Gaza's small Christian community, one of the world's oldest, it's a struggle just to survive. Two women, 81-year-old Nahida Khalil Antoun and her 50-year-old daughter Summer, were shot dead by an Israeli sniper over a week ago in a churchyard they were sheltering in. In Bethlehem, we met Nahida's grandson, Jawdat. I don't know what she did to deserve this, he says. She was just an innocent old lady.
It's Christmas. How are you feeling today?
We are all sad, anxious, and full of worry, he says. They are trapped and under siege without food or water. There is nothing to celebrate. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, Bethlehem.
The CDC is warning that flu and COVID combined with holiday gatherings could lead to a spike in illnesses this winter. The agency is also raising awareness for a new variant of coronavirus called JN1 that may be more contagious but less severe. The variant now makes up 44% of all cases nationwide, more than doubling its share from last week. The World Health Organization calling it, quote, variant of interest.
AN1, which we're now seeing, is one that clearly is spreading very quickly around the world. And there's evidence that it is actually causing an increased number of illnesses, and particularly even in some who have already had COVID before or may have been vaccinated before.
Experts say the best precautions are to get vaccinated for respiratory illnesses, to test before and after large family gatherings. Also, if you feel sick, to stay home. Arkansas's unemployment rate is seeing a slight uptick. The latest report shows it went up 0.2 of a point last month, bringing it to 3.3%. That's still below the national unemployment rate, which just fell to 3.7%. This is now the fourth consecutive month for rising unemployment in Arkansas. And now that Christmas is over, you probably want to start thinking about taking down the tree, especially if you got a live one this year. We've all seen the videos of live trees catching a spark and quickly igniting. The National Fire Protection Agency reports that an average of 160 home fires are caused each year by Christmas trees catching fire. Experts say if your tree starts turning brown, it's best to take it outside. Now, when you do decide to take down your tree, why not donate it to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission? They use live Christmas trees to create underwater habitats for small fish. There are free drop-off sites across the state until the end of January. Just make sure you remove all ornaments, lights, and tinsel first. For a full list of drop-off sites, just head over to the Arkansas Game and Fish website. And now that the presents have been opened, it's time to get rid of all the wrapping paper and boxes. Before you head to the dumpster, Danya Backus brings us some helpful recycling reminders.
The Burbank Recycle Center sees about 155 tons of material every day. That number increases 25% during the holidays as people send in the leftovers from all those presents.
This is our pre-sort line.
Amy Hammis is a recycling specialist. She says cardboard boxes and paper products that are not lined should be recycled, but you must remove the packing materials.
The tendency can be to keep all that packaging in there, and a lot of the stuff like the foam, the air pillows, things like that are not recyclable in your cart, and so you're just bringing contaminants to us.
Bows and ribbons are not recyclable and should be reused if possible. Wrapping paper is recyclable, but not all of it.
Once you start getting into all the fancy stuff, the gloss, the metallic, the glitter, all of that just degrades the value of the paper, and so it's not recyclable.
And those old, unwanted electronics are in a special category.
Anything that has a cord, like lighted trees or ornaments, needs to go to a recycle collection center and not placed inside your at-home recycle bin.
It's just going to tangle our equipment, and we're going to have to take it to a collection center for e-waste.
Many local governments have special points for e-waste, including products with rechargeable lithium batteries. And several retailers like Best Buy and Staples will recycle old electronics.
That has to be handled and dealt with responsibly.
Hammis says if you have any doubt, ask your recycling center what they accept to make sure your good intentions don't go to waste. Danya Backus, CBS News, Burbank, California.
Well, all of the gifts are open, but maybe you didn't get exactly what you wanted this year. Well, still ahead, what you need to know before you think about those holiday returns. Scott?
Well, if you wanted some cooler weather, we all got that. Maybe you're one of those folks that were wanting a couple of snow flurries. Well, there will be a few lucky Arkansans over the next couple of days. We'll have a look at that changing forecast, all coming up when THV 11 News at noon returns.